Good evening. This is Tony Dattino doing my Live with Tony on Friday evening and meeting with the USA Memory Championship team this afternoon. We are still faced with the decision, do we have spectators attend the October 23rd championship that we will be doing at the Rosentown Center in Orlando, Florida? Or do we not have spectators, which may risk the opportunity of having press coverage? So that's the dilemma that we are facing. We're cutting down. We promised to get this resolved by the middle of September. So we are now at September 10th. So by next Friday, we will be making a final decision on this. And it's agonizing because we've actually had people sending us emails asking us how they can get tickets to enter to observe the competition. And well, that's sad that we have people that are interested in coming to observe the event and be a part of the audience, and we're not sure in terms of the direction of COVID and what's happening with it as to what we should do. So the Rosen Center does a very good job in terms of ventilation and screening people. So we've got to go back and find out what their regular protocols are in terms of staffing and vaccinations and masking, which also means we want to keep our mental athletes safe. So in inviting the mental athletes to attend the competition, they are obviously of paramount importance that the people that are coming to compete at the event actually have the safety that we can assure them that they can focus on competing in the event rather than worried about where and who is there and what the impact may be to their health. COVID, obviously, I have the opportunity of talking with people in the medical world, specifically in the hospital world, and whether I talk to them in the middle part of the country or talk to them on the East Coast of the country, in the West Coast. We obviously have this Delta variant that creates a bit of a challenge for all of us to continue to maintain distancing and be safe. And being over 65, I certainly qualify for one of those folks that have a risk that causes me to be as conservative and as attentive to safety protocols as anyone. So that's kind of where we are today. It's exciting that we've got people who want to come to Orlando and compete in this. Well, I do know from my Disney friends that they are still putting people in the parks and they are still filling up their hotels to some level, and people are coming to Orlando. Labor Day weekend brought huge amounts of people that almost took them back to 2019 levels. And so people are coming to Orlando, and I guess Universal and SeaWorld and Disney are back operating at full capacities. You watched the football games last weekend and you saw 80,000 people sitting in football stadiums. So there's some level of people thinking we can go back to normal, but there's also a level of folks like myself that say, I don't know that we're ready to go back to full boat normal. So these are the challenges that we are facing. But at this point, the good news is we're having a competition. We're going to have what we call our infamous word list, words to remember, to start us off. We will have our tea party guests, so that's where we have people come out on stage and introduce themselves with their name and phone number and address and hobbies and favorite foods. We will have a long-term memory event, and that will be part of sports, arts, and science. And that's a fabulous event and exciting. And of course, we will have what we call our double-decker bus, which is where we put people that are in the final round against one another, remembering the orders of two shuffled decks of cards that are together. We space out the events with 15-minute intervals, and we have someone speaking to the audience. In this particular case, we may not have anyone speaking to the audience because we may not have an audience. So that's where that brings us to the next level of interest. So will we have an audience or not? But regardless, we will give the mental athletes 10 to 15 minute breaks in between each of the competitions as we move through the afternoon. What else can I say other than, my goodness, we pray for everyone to be safe and maintain good protocols and distancing and hand washing and masking. And there's enough of news on the vaccines to get or not to get that I don't know that I need to cover that. But we are getting a lot of interest in this year's memory competition, which is wonderful. But my goodness, I sure hope that we can get back to the year when we can get back into having live audiences and not have all these concerns about people's well-being. That is all I wanted to say in my broadcast today. I just always like to update on Friday evenings what the results of our team member meetings are. And everybody's involved in some piece, working on some element of moving the ball forward. So we're actively engaged, we're actively thinking about all of the elements. It's usually hard enough to just run a competition, but trying to run it during the space of COVID. It's almost like, as our MIT professor said, my goodness, they ran the NBA season over at Disney's Wide World of Sports for a season. Maybe we could figure out how to do something of that sort. And of course, they did not have spectators. So this is where we're at in terms of the bouncing ball. The exciting thing is we have a college class that is going to be doing the filming, and we have to work to see if they can stream. And we can do that, and at least we'll have this captured so people will be able to see it after the event, as we will get it and post it and put it out for people. And if we can stream it, then that takes care of people being in the audience or not. So I have some work to do this week, and I'll give a report on that next Friday. Have a good week and enjoy your weekend, and continue to be as safe as you can so that all of us can get to the other side of this and pick up life into something we think is close to normal.